Hello everyone, today we're reacting to more Miniminuteman. I loved the last ones. I cannot believe the conspiracies people come up with. Like, just look at it when it's here, this is crazy, but I love the stuff. I can't wait to see more, so let's give it a go.
Do you guys believe that this sun is the real sun that we grew up with? This is a fake sun.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Do you guys believe that this sun is the real
I'm sorry. Excuse me?
sun that we grew up with? This is a fake sun.
Ooh, that's a good one.
That's
I can
so
tell
spicy.
you with 1000% confidence that this person is just with us for internet clout, and it's working because they have 1.2 million followers. But this is...
That's crazy. This kind of like proves my theory, right? Like, I feel like a lot of this is just like trolling rage bait. How much bank do these people get trolling? Does anybody know?
It's just so hilarious that I can't not talk about it.
That's cool.
That's weird, right? A second sun, one sun right behind the other one. Yeah.
You want to know how to make that
God.
second sun disappear? You open the window that you are shooting through. This is what happens when you film the sun through a pane of glass. Fuck no, you have got to be fucking with me.
I figured out how to adjust the brightness on my phone camera. The sun must not be real.
You can even see each swipe they make as they change the exposure.
That's
I don't even know what to say
crazy.
here.
Neither, honestly. I've watched this video like 3 times now, and all I've taken away from it is a splitting migraine. I cannot believe that this is my job. Follow me, please.
Do you guys believe that this sun is
Yeah, follow this man. Okay, yeah, this is trolling for sure, right? Which makes me think, like, how do people even get into this? Do they have like a friend or something that's like, dude, I post like nonsense online? And how much harm does this do you think? I don't know. It's interesting to think about, but also kind of terrifying. The sun doesn't exist though. That's amazing. Actually, I know this one guy. Apparently there's this belief. A friend told me that apparently some people believe that eating is a conspiracy. Hear me. I know. And the idea is that food is not necessary because people actually can photosynthesize. Like if we just stand it in the sun, we could like absorb energy like plants. But like we've been trained not to or something by like big food. Oh my God. That's one of the craziest ones I've ever heard that somebody allegedly believes.
Did you know that they drained Niagara Falls? Because I sure didn't.
didn't
This
know
is
that.
complete news to me. Now, why would they go and do a thing like that? Awesome question. Niagara Falls is the middle point of the Niagara River that runs between Lake Erie and Lake Ontario. Since it's a waterfall, it's constantly eroding backwards upstream. This backwards erosion is the natural progression of this
That makes
waterfall that's
sense.
been going on for like 15,000 years. You know who really doesn't like the way that nature works? The U.S. Army Corps of Engineers. The U.S. and Canada got all pissy that there was all these boulders building up at the bottom of the falls because they were making the falls look smaller than they actually were. So they decided to apply the time-tested principle where if you feel a little self-conscious about the size of your falls, you can always shave a little. So they decided to shave off some of the boulders.
Funny.
So the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers builds this dam and cuts off the flow to the falls. And they drive trucks and cranes and all this stuff out there to start doing surveying. Then some genius made the discovery that if they remove all these rocks, it'll actually make erosion worse. They did some reinforcing with concrete and called it a day. And that is why they drained Niagara Falls. Did you know that they drained
Dude,
Niagara?
I didn't know that. That's crazy. The falls are fake. Why am I feel like this sounds like a conspiracy that someone would have though? You can't just mix in information with the crazy stuff, okay? I need to know that all of this is crazy or else I'm gonna... You know what I mean?
I'll be the first to admit that's pretty interesting, but that is an awful lot of talk from someone that also does not seem to know a lot about Pangea. The fact that Australia fits pretty snugly with the east coast of the United States is pretty interesting. It is also a complete coincidence and has literally nothing to do with Pangea. There ain't no amount of Pangea that'll ever explain how Australia could get from here to over here. Now, I want to give the benefit of the doubt here and assume that this person was talking about this, how Africa and Europe fit really snugly with the Americas. This is, as they so eloquently put, about Pangea. But the big takeaway here is this is why you should all be exceptionally wary about taking geology lessons from someone with a Sigma male wolf profile picture or someone
But that's where I get all of my information.
named Gooch Gobbler. I'll be the first to admit that's pretty interesting.
I don't know, man. I don't know. Wait, also a wolf, by the way. Gnarly wolf. And maybe they missed that. Just anything wolf related, okay, guys? Stay away. Stay away. Unless you're a furry, in which case I guess that's kind of the point.
And you're gonna tell me this beast was made without a single power tool? Arteria, anybody?
Oh, this is a new one.
Oh my
The
God.
cathedral is made of sandstone.
So, what's the alternative? Aliens? Aliens made the cathedrals?
Sandstone has a hardness of 4. This is called a chisel. It's a tool that people used back when we actually had to have skills. If you're claiming that they used power tools on this, they must have built it pretty quickly,
Truth.
right?
It started being built in 1248.
It took them almost 800 years to finish the goddamn
God
thing.
damn.
Granted, they did take like a 200 or 300 year break, but I think that if they had power tools, they would have got it done faster than 600 years. I love how many conspiracy theories stem from being so coddled by modern technology.
I think like it's interesting. How long did the Notre Dame repairs take? I wonder how that went and like how extensive the damage was.
That they can't fathom putting actual work into something. I think you need to spend a day.
That's so true. That's like in the last video that we did, there was like a sarcophagus that was perfectly straight and people couldn't believe how people did that. I think a lot of this is, literally that.
Construction site. Because I would love for you to walk up to a unionized stonemason with a Dunk's iced coffee and tell him that you can't carve sandstone without power tools. Because he will laugh directly in your face, and if you're lucky, he may even shake one of your baby soft hands. Please, for the love of God, send your children to Evoke Tech High School so they can learn some real world skills. Because if this keeps going, we're going to get to a point where there's conspiracy theorists who don't believe in woodworking anymore.
And you're gonna
Dude, can you even chop trees? I mean, how did they do it without chainsaws, without AI algorithms, tree bots?
tell me this beast was made without a single power tool?
Oh, next.
You probably already know what this is. Yeah, Milo, it's the way that people migrated to North America like 10,000 years ago. Wrong, that's a lie. When your school taught you that humans have been in North America for about 10,000 years, that number was taken from this, Clovis culture, which up until recently was the oldest evidence of human habitation in the Americas. But recently they found these, the White Sands footprints, which are dated to be about 23,000 years before present, meaning that this one find alone pushed back the time that humans have been in North America by nearly 10,000 years. But
That's
what if I told
crazy.
you that there is an archaeological site which has the potential to push back the arrival date of humans in North America by nearly 100,000 years? A site which is so old that if proven genuine, it could mean that Homo sapiens weren't the first hominin in North America. It is called the Suruti Mastodon site, and in all of my time learning about archaeology, I have never heard of a site which has confused me more. If you'd like to learn everything there is to know about this mysterious archaeological site, I will see you tonight at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on YouTube.
Oh, you son of a beach. But yeah, interesting. That's kind of insane.
You ever wondered why Scotland looks like that? What do you mean, what am I talking about? The giant line that runs through the middle of it? You've never looked at that and thought, huh, that's a little weird. Well, that weird giant line is
Well, firstly, I've never really looked at Scotland.
called the Great Glen. It's a valley that runs from coast to coast, completely against the grain of all the
Well, clearly, when the aliens were making the pyramids, the laser beam slipped and then just slipped right through Scotland, unfortunately.
other hills and mountains. The base of it has a series of these long freshwater lakes, including Loch Ness. They're all in a perfectly straight line and both look and are oriented differently
the
than
Loch
all the
Ness
other lakes in the
monster made
area.
it.
Take a moment to absorb the beauty. All right, now let's talk about why it exists. This strange valley is the ghost of an ancient fault line, now creatively referred to as the Great Glen Fault. We're
that
talking like
makes
300
sense.
million years ago when the collision of Pangaea created the Appalachian Mountains. When all this ripped apart again, it caused some issues, including the Great Glen Fault, a strike-slip fault where both pieces of crust are moving in opposite directions to each other. This fault is so old that there's actually pieces of it that exist in northern Canada as well. It has become inactive with the opening of the Atlantic Ocean. And during the last ice age, glaciers scoured this fractured rock, creating this strange valley. If you like weird things like this, sauce me a follow.
That's sick. Also, I imagine like the erosion, of course, after that was made. Although I guess the rift is probably so deep that it's like, I guess it's probably continuing to be grinded down and stuff at this scale because of the glacier melting and stuff.
Whether you believe the Hollow Earth theory or not, let me just ask you this.
By all means, ask away.
The presumption by the way he presents it is like establishing it as fact, whether you believe it or not. You know what I mean? Whether you believe this truth or not. You know what I mean? Like, whoa, back this up, sir. Back that up, sir.
way. Tell us your pearls of wisdom, conspiracy, Brendan Urie.
Why does it remain forbidden to fly over the poles?
That's how you ask a question as a conspiracy theorist. See, to ask this question, he's implying that it's forbidden to fly over the poles, which it most definitely isn't. If you wanted to catch this flight from Santiago, Chile to Perth, Australia, you would be legally flying over the South Pole. The only reason there's so few is there's not that much populated land down here, while international flights cross the North Pole all the goddamn time.
Why at some point in time did Google Earth censor polar latitude?
Ah, yes, another
What?
question that relies on something that is fundamentally wrong. They didn't censor the South Pole? Look, here it is. Ooh.
Are seeds found
What is he
floating
even
in the
talking
water
about?
from the interior of the icebergs?
But another one that's fundamentally wrong. They don't find tropical seeds floating in ice. They find them as fossils because the continent that is now Antarctica used to be at a much higher latitude at a time when the Earth was much warmer. I'm a firm believer that
Wait, they found, oh, that's so cool. They're finding fossils in Antarctica? That's crazy. I never knew any of that. Also, what's that? What's this dude assuming there's just like palm trees floating around in Antarctica? Jesus.
there's no stupid questions, only stupid answers. The whole "I'm just asking questions here" crowd really makes me question.
Yeah.
Whether you believe the Hollow Earth theory or not,
What do you think? Grifter? I think I'm gonna bet Grifter, but I don't know. The smugness makes me think legit.
They haven't built a pyramid bigger than Giza yet.
Fine, I'll talk about the stupid video.
The pyramid of the sun.
Oh
and
my
Boston
god, this
triangular
guy.
side.
This guy is like the pyramid guy.
That's it. Pyramid confirmed. We're joking.
No, that's it. He talks about magnets and compasses, but none of it matters because it's not a pyramid. He doesn't tell you the important stuff, like the guy who discovered it is a Bosnian businessman. Wonder what his motive could be for getting his name slapped on a tourist attraction.
Formations look natural to you.
Flatiron Mountain, it's been confirmed by multiple geologists. I know, it really looks like a pyramid, doesn't it?
Oh my god.
35,000 years old.
Bro, what the fuck?
Aren't there like, I'm pretty sure there's like certain minerals too that when they're built, like the structure of them, when they're formed, are like perfect cubes. Or even, I'm not sure about spheres or not, but I'm almost certain there are ones that are like kind of cube-like, which is really interesting. Not really related to here, but it's like, if you see that, you know, people are gonna be like, oh, evidence of cube, of people, man-made cube. It's just, I don't know, it's crazy.
No. You're gonna just
I know they're all, a lot of them are grifters. Why do I believe that this guy is genuine? I feel like this guy believes
accept
it.
that number at face value? You're not
Maybe
even
because his chin is a pyramid. He looked in the mirror and he's like, how did that get here? How did I get so perfectly sculpted in pyramid-like shape? Must have been aliens. Wait, can I do a conspiracy about his chin and post it on like TikTok or something? Like, the real reason why he's trying to dissect pyramids and everything is to throw off the fact that he is actually sculpted by aliens.
Years old.
Bro, what the fuck? No. You're gonna just accept that number at face value? You're not even gonna question this timeline? Aren't you people supposed to be critical thinkers? You cannot actually look at that
Honestly.
and think that that makes any goddamn sense.
But I don't get too about like quote unquote critical think crowd, right? That are very like contrarian. A lot of this stuff is like very easily disproved. So if you were doing your own research, like even simple searches would disprove this. Some of them are like, you know, a bit more murky with a lot of misinfo out there, but like the more crackpot stuff, you know what I mean? So I wonder how they, I don't know, rationalize that.
Each stacked with geopolymer binding with perfect placement.
Geopolymer binding. Sedimentary rock that cracked and eroded. That's why they fit together so well.
At these tunnels, large stone blocks were found,
Perhaps a cave. Oh, it's too smooth. It had to be people.
flat out ignored by mainstream archaeology.
Humanity's greatest threat, mainstream archaeologists. You can find a more noble enemy than that, G.I. Joe.
They haven't built
That's
a pyramid
crazy.
bigger than Giza.
Oh my God.
You are a slave.
Big archaeology. What would their motive be? I can't even.
Take me to dinner first. The fuck?
They deactivate your pineal gland using fluoride.
Today we're talking about this bullshit. Bread and butter here is archaeology.
What?
Considering that I've earned a drinking water, wastewater, and OSHA 40 certification, as well as spent the last summer of my life sampling groundwater on an Air Force base, I like to think that I'm somewhat qualified to talk about this. The long story short is that this man who is way too close to the camera is, incidentally, wrong. This conspiracy started in the 40s because people thought they were putting fluoride in the water to turn us all into communists, which I think is hilarious. But the reason that we put fluoride in water is because it helps decrease tooth decay, one of the leading causes of chronic illness for children. Now,
What's interesting is how like prevalent this is, because I'm pretty sure it was like Calgary in Canada recently that like deactivated it, and apparently they recently have re-entered that after 10 or 15 years or so, which is really funny. So the downside, a lot of people are a victim of this thinking, but plus side is, I guess, we have samples. We have samples of it not.
Obviously, in high doses, it's not very good for you. Just like,
not.
literally everything else. Like oxygen in the air is around 20%, but if you get it to 50%, it'll kill you. It's hilarious to me that people will bitch and moan about fluoride, and then wash it down with a can of this shit. Also, if fluoride is supposed to make me roll over and love the government, it didn't fucking work.
You are
Also true. Because, like, it's been there for so long now. Why are we not all...
I got you this.
This guy might be a grifter, I don't know, but this is actually something that people genuinely believe. Again, it's weird, because if you think about it for like 5 seconds, you know what I mean? It just gets so disproven, but people just violently believe these things, and I often wonder why. God, I feel like we need to watch psychology TikToks after this to understand the mind of people with conspiracies.
I got you this. It's a dead beluga whale. Oh, Milo, it's a terrible gift. I already have a dead beluga whale.
No, actually, that is a alien gun made out of their bones and placed by archaeologists to throw us off the scent.
Okay, well, this one's different. I bet you cannot guess where they found it. An estuary? Wrong. Perchance a tidal marsh? No, also wrong. An inlet? Mayhaps. Wrong again. Did you just say the shore of a freshwater lake in a totally landlocked state? Oh my god, you're correct. This is the Charlotte whale, and it was discovered in the 1840s during a rail line construction in Charlotte, Vermont. First, workers thought that it was a horse skeleton. I don't know what they were smoking, but I would like some. Well, figuring out this wasn't a horse was pretty easy. Figuring out what a whale skeleton was doing in a farmer's field in Vermont was much more difficult.
I'm a bit of a collector.
So the discipline of geology was still in its infancy, but it was eventually found that this whale came from here. When the glaciers covered North America, they compressed the ground with their immense weight. And so when they receded, the ground was lowered. This allowed for seawater to fill the Champlain Valley about 15,000 years ago.
Oh, wow.
An inland Arctic Sea environment in what is now Canada and Vermont. The perfect environment for a beluga whale. I got you this. It's a dead beluga.
Wow. We had whales over us? Dude, most of Canada lives there now. I'm living where whales be living. Let's go. I wonder how many fossils like that there are around.
To believe that in Egypt, they did it all by hand with slave labor and copper tools.
Nice video. Too bad you got ratioed to hell. Comment sections of videos like this are normally just people, blindly drinking the Kool-Aid. In a moment like this, I feel like a proud father. It brings a tear to my eye to see so many people calling out pseudo-archaeology videos in the comments. Don't get me wrong, we still have some comments like this. We will find pyramids built by our ancestors on Mars, mark my words. I'm sure we will, Raul. I'm sure we will.
I don't know what these guys are.
By and large, you guys are doing my job for me. Granite can be sliced with copper and sand in between. Sand particles are way harder than granite. That is true. Okay,
a lot
sand
of people
is
are
diamond
trolling,
and
actually.
wouldn't also grind down the copper in the tool. Okay, got it. They replaced their copper tools. Of course the sand wore them down. The video also implies that the pyramids were built out of granite and not sandstone. Sandstone being incredibly soft. And we get this comment. It's made from sandstone, not granite. If you say so. Y'all know that my job is your job too.
Oh my god, the denial.
When you see videos like this, don't be afraid to politely spread the truth in the comments.
To believe that in
Honestly,
Egypt,
do God's work, chat.
Explain this to me.
Sure, man, of course. What can I do for you?
2 rainbows here, which are coming from the reflection.
Prisms. Love them. Just can't get enough of the little fuckers.
Well, coming from that corner.
Your baby's hustling towards that swimming pool like he's got a scuba certification to get. Maybe when we're done with the
Yeah, maybe you have other things to be concerned about
prisms,
there.
you can get a baby gate, or at least get the kid a fucking snorkel.
When we see a rainbow in the sky, shaped like this, where is that coming?
No, you got this, man. Where does it come from?
The only explanation, some form of rounded...
Okay. Okay. This guy's a believer, I bet. Or he's stoned and he's just asking, like, he's just out of it.
glass structure above us.
My confidence seems to have been woefully misplaced. So your door is a prism. It splits the white light into all of its different constituent colors and projects it onto your beautiful tiled floor. Rainbows are created by scattering light through water droplet, which are, as you may have guessed, round. Rainbows don't actually exist in the sky. They only exist in relation to where your eyeball is perceiving it from. All those round droplets create a round prism effect, which is why rainbows can be so big that they arc over a city, or so small that you can create one yourself with a garden hose. It has nothing to do with living under a giant...
Explain this to me.
Sure, man, of course. What kind
But if we were now, yeah, it is interesting, right? Because I'm pretty sure like rainbows, especially smaller ones, change based on like how you're looking at them, like the perspective or whatever the light is reaching you or something. I don't really know. Honey brain. I guess I feel like all of, again, I've kind of talked about this before, but I feel like all of this is like people trying to solve things they know absolutely nothing about. Like the idea of like, oh, wow, that's weird that there's rainbows on my floor. That's it. That's where it should stop. I don't know how this works. Maybe look it up. Maybe. But like, I guess people just need answers for things, and so they just kind of YOLO.
This theory could prove that ancient civilizations actually had contact with each other across the world.
Wow!
Ancient civilizations all had contact with each other across the world.
Let's just take it down a notch. You're shaking like you just discovered atomic theory. It's really not that serious.
There are pyramids in 5 continents.
I don't hear people say this enough. A pyramid is a modern architectural category. It's like saying a house or a skyscraper. Different civilizations didn't set out to build a pyramid. They set out to build religious centers, burial structures, and temples. There's pyramids.
Also, I feel like it's just like a good structural thing, right? It's like you don't look at like shacks being everywhere and being like, oh man, shacks, everybody was connected, you know? Maybe it's just because we look at pyramids now and think of them as like so unique. So it's like, how did everybody come to this conclusion, right? What I think is more interesting, not necessarily conspiratorial or anything, but how like a lot of religions have like very similar creator myths, you know, like similarities between like Horus and Jesus, for example, and things like that, and how that's even like wider spread. Like certain themes of mythology are all over the world and like are very similar in stories, but they didn't have contact with each other, which is very interesting, which makes me think about like how maybe these are just stories that are just so true to human imagination and condition, or whatever the case may be. I just think it's really interesting, more so than this pyramid situation. Obviously, it's aliens.
It's all over the world is good evidence, are solely looking at it through a modern lens.
With similarities that don't make any sense.
Look at how different all of these structures are.
And these are completely different. It's just that when you don't have like advanced like building strategies, piling rock works, I guess.
Vary about as much as is humanly possible when you're building a 4-sided structure out of
also
dirt.
That one's crazy. That looks sick. I like that one. Looks like a starship.
And rocks challenge you to come up with a design feature that isn't present somewhere up here.
It's 3-window structure. Have you ever seen the photo of the Last Supper?
Truly envy the mind of a conspiracy theorist. Convince yourself that you have your third eye open and that you're seeing what they don't want you to see, and have this be enough evidence for you. Random bullshit regurgitated from somebody else's TikTok.
This theory could prove that ancient...
Oh man, I don't know. Grift or believer, chat. What do you guys think? He's got the crazy eyes. I think this guy believes it.
This penguin is almost the height of an adult man, and these penguins you could punt like a football. So you're probably thinking to yourself, why? Why the size difference? Not why you'd punt them like a football. I mean, that one's pretty obvious.
Yeah, obviously.
Well, buckle up, because it's time to learn you some science. There's a trend seen through
Emperor
species
penguins are
across
so
the
cool.
world that colder environments will evolutionarily select for larger body sizes. And it's called Bergman's Rule. Write that one down, it will be on the test. Let's look at a bear. This is a polar bear. It lives in the Arctic. And this is an Andean bear. It looks like a Toy Factory misprint and lives in the Andes. Have a look at that size comparison.
Damn. Dude, polar bears are so
Here is
terrifying.
the Andean bear or spectacled bear. This gigantic, terrifying thing is a polar bear. And if you look at the names and regions of
I didn't
all
know
these
they were
bears,
that
it's
big.
actually a phenomenal graph of Bergman's rule. As the astute of you have already guessed, that is exactly why we had so much megafauna during the Ice Age. I hear some of you say, Milo, but elephants exist and they're in Africa and it's warm there. Elephants are just the last remaining member of a myriad of tusked pachyderms that arose during the Ice Age. Despite being big, they're smaller than a mammoth. This penguin is almost the height of an adult man.
That's interesting. I wonder why that's the case. Some biologist in chat, if someone stumbles in, let me know. What's the deal?
Did you ever leave your handprints in wet cement as a kid? Or forever memorialize
I think
the
I did
initials of you
something
and your
as a kid.
partner who ended up being a total dick? If you did either of these things, then I have some interesting news for you. Because you were, without knowing it, participating in what may be humanity's oldest tradition. In 2021, archaeologists discovered this rock 13,000 feet above sea level in the Tibetan Plateau. Now this rock was interesting because typically most rocks don't have handprints in them. Analysis of this ancient stone showed that it had the hand and footprints of 2 individuals. By comparing the size of these prints to modern Homo sapiens, archaeologists were able to determine that this little artistic duo consisted of a 7-year-old and a 12-year-old. But what's so incredible is that these prints are dated to be almost 200,000 years old. And because these aren't the markings of someone who was just walking through somewhere, they were done deliberately. and therefore could be classified as the oldest art in the world. And because of how
That's
old they are, there's
crazy.
a very good chance that these little artists weren't even part of our species. Did you ever leave your handprints in?
Oh, interesting. Yeah, because that far back, right? We got like Neanderthals and such. A root system was found 4 miles deep, 7 miles wide under the Devil's Tower. This could change
Holy
it.
shit,
What?
my man has the most incredible eyebrows I've ever seen. The fuck are you doing making conspiracy videos? You should be making
Yeah.
POV thirst traps or working at Sephora. But unfortunately, Michelangelo here decided that his career path would be being wrong about geology. You may know this bad boy as Devil's Tower, though its actual name is Matotopia, which is its indigenous name, which meant Bear Lodge or Bear Teepee. And the indigenous folklore surrounding this site, claiming that it was a trunk of a giant tree that was scraped by a bear, has been turned into a lovely TikTok conspiracy theory, which seems just about as disrespectful as renaming it to Devil's Tower, but I guess that...
Ah, root system. Okay, so it is a tree. Or so they think. Man, can you imagine a tree being that big? That'd be sick.
That's not really my call to make. Either way, this is bullshit. Matotopia is a columnar basalt monadnock, which is a bit of a mouthful, but I'll break it down. This is what happens when magma slowly cools into basalt, and because it is a standalone mountain, it is a monadnock. This is another example of columnar basalt from the Giant's Causeway. Unless Stencil Brows wants to tell us that this was a giant ocean tree. So why don't we just let indigenous people...
I love it's so cool looking, the like choppiness on the edges there.
Tree. So why don't we just let indigenous people have their folklore instead of fucking with it for TikTok clout?
Gotta get them views, Jack. Gotta get them views. Speaking of, if you guys could you guys could drop the hype feature, you know what I mean? I'd really appreciate that. If you have a good time, like and sub, all that stuff. So I can peddle conspiracies about laser beams. Thank you very much.
Tell me if you think this is a coincidence.
Yes, it is a coincidence. If you start by playing the horror piano TikTok audio and asking if something's a coincidence, I can almost promise you that it will be.
These Roman numerals. When we combine all these numerals, we're left with 1776.
Fuck.
Oh lord,
It's not
here we
a
go.
coincidence. I bet you that was intentional.
And then subtract it by 1776. Guess what? We're left with 666.
Who has the time to come up with this shit? Hi everyone, I'm new here. I'm the Shadow Government summer intern. I'm a really big fan of National Treasure with Nicolas Cage. I was wondering if we could put like a National Treasure Easter egg in the money.
The Australian
That's
$20
crazy.
note now.
Oh please, Australia lost a war against birds. Do you think they're being asked to help with the New World Order?
And then, if we multiply it by the 2, we get...
You don't actually have to make up an evil shadow government to be mad at. You can just be mad at the normal government. And you
That's
kinda should be,
true.
because they actually, you know, don't give a fuck about you. So if that looks unfair to you, just remember there's a lot more of us than there are of them. And so all I'm saying is what we should do.
You tell me if you think
Oh my
the same.
god. man was cooking there. Holy. That's the interesting thing, right? They're like shadow evil government. I feel like we got some normal problems, you know? I don't know, why do people, you know what, don't think about it. Don't think about it.
A deep understanding of geometry, mathematics, physics, and engineering.
Oh man, maybe, and hear me out on this one.
They did
have an understanding of geometry, mathematics, physics, and engineering. How did ancient people know how to do this when they were dumb, stupid idiots? So this is called the Chand Baori. It's a step well in India, and it was built in the 9th century. For
That's so
comparison,
cool.
this castle in Italy was also built in the 9th century. I don't see anyone
Oh my
questioning what their
God.
understanding was of math, physics, and
You know, I've seen some people have commented on the last video that some conspiracies like this are kind of rooted in like kind of racist thinking a little bit, which is also kind of interesting because like, yeah, this is the situation, right? Like they're built in the same time period, but like, why are you assuming that they're Ongo Bungo? You know what I mean? Although this is probably just assuming like ancient stuff. I don't know. People are weird. Also, that castle is sick.
engineering. These beautiful constructions made by civilized people.
We need to build, you know what, honestly, we actually we're slacking, man, in my opinion. Look at those old buildings, those old layouts and stuff like that. Their buildings are cooler than ours. We have more knowledge and technology, and we build lame glass things. Come on, guys, we need to start digging pits. We need to start making fancy things with stone again, okay? We're throwing.
Will make perfect sense. But how did these heathenist barbarians figure out how to do basic geometry. You see how condescending this shit is? Now, thankfully, people are getting wise to just how degrading and brain dead a lot of these pseudo-archaeology theories are. And so this post got just shredded in the fucking comments.
Yeah.
Wow, who knew that when you imply that ancient India didn't have an understanding of the sciences, you're gonna get a little fucking backlash.
Dude, they had like engineering and like this was 900? Like, dude, they had way more advanced stuff like before that. Like oh man, like how old is like math? You know what I mean? Oh my god.
How is it?
Hey, y'all seen this yet?
That would be my line.
I'm gonna take a shot every time this guy makes an insane claim and backs it up with, I don't know, it looks like it.
That this
You know, this is a believer right here. This is a believer. This guy is ripping it from the hip.
giant snake, man. You can see the scales.
You can see the scales.
Alleged.
This gives me like people like this always like I'm like a story, you know, I'm into game development, storytelling, stuff like that. Always gives me like the best ideas. You know what I mean? Like, oh, a giant ancient serpent sealed in the stone that's been there for millennia, but is actually there. Like, oh, that's so cool. Like, that's a cool concept. Like the giant ice wall. Oh, guess George got that already, but you know what I mean. Ancient mega trees.
Tree stump.
Alleged tree stump.
Alleged mountain.
Alleged mountains.
Are fantasy writers just conspiracy writers that know, or just conspiracy theorists that know that they're just using their mind?
You can even see the rings.
You can see the rings.
Look what happens. Allegedly.
Allegedly.
Oh my god, you're gonna be dead.
Giants or not, but it's petrified something.
He doesn't know, but it's petrified something.
No, the libs are turning the rocks gay. Come on now. Come on
looks
now.
a lot like roots.
Looks like.
It even looks like the little wrinkled up skin on the.
Looks like a little wrinkled up.
That's crazy.
Milo, people don't actually believe this,
Homeboy,
right?
stop drinking, you're gonna die.
They do. Something is very wrong with the supposed history we've been taught, liked by creator. Shouldn't be surprising. They hide everything. Archaeology is a symptom of modern anti-intellectualism. Yeah, it seems harmless on its own. It discourages people from actually doing research themselves. Instead, just listen to theories like this because they like how it makes them feel.
Hey, y'all seen this yet?
What's interesting about this though is like, yeah, I guess it is all just rooted in like crazy and anti-intellectualism at the end of the day. But anyway, what's really interesting about this is that what world they're living in is so much more cool. You know, like I was saying, like it's so fantastical. Or there's all these ancient beasts hidden in stone that they're not telling us about. Just imagine like what that world would be like if that was true. You know what I mean? So neat, but like terrifying.
You see that? What is that?
Ah, it's me again. This mysterious-looking object is actually an example of one of my favorite geologic features. That's a great first date question, by the way. What's your favorite geologic feature? If they say esker, put a ring on it immediately. This weird-looking thing is what is known as a concretion. And despite looking like something which is man-made, it's actually entirely natural. Concretions form inside sedimentary rock layers. And from the colors and textural layering that we can see in this video, I would hazard a guess that this is a sedimentary cliff. Concretions can come in all different shapes and sizes. Their formation begins during the very early stages of the development of sedimentary rock, while it is still silt or sand or something, in this case, finely sorted. A little fucking rock will get in, or an acorn, or someone will drop a tic-tac into it, and over millions of years of compression, it will create this cool little node. Sometimes they can have fossils inside, and sometimes young Earth creationists think that they're footprints. So I hope that answers your question, guy walking on a beach.
You see that? What is that?
Ah, it's me.
I hate the Stranger Things music on that, by the way.
Was done with a chisel.
Did Michelangelo carve the statue of David with lost advanced alien technology?
That's crazy. But also, dude, you know what this reminds me of is like when you're doing really well in a game and dude can't handle it and accuses you of cheating. Like you're aimbotting or something. This is like the IRL equivalent of that. Like, dude, there's no way, it's too good. Biggest compliment.
They want you to believe that chisels exist. And I know a 30-something in a Toronto Blue Jays hat who knows the real
not
secret.
the Jays.
Like they really try to tell us that Kalisha's temple was carved with a chisel.
They probably carved it with multiple chisels. And secondly, who the fuck is Kalisha? I've heard of Kailasa's
Please don't be a local.
Maybe Kalisha built the temple with one chisel, and I'm the one that's wrong here.
I truly think that giants used to roam the earth.
Do you really believe that? I want people to be fascinated by the mysteries of the ancient world. These are terrace farms that sit at more than 2 miles in elevation. location. Lhasa Temple is one of the only temples in the world built from the top down, carved directly out of the bedrock itself. These marble statues are a testament to the human understanding of anatomy and art. What all these things have in common is that they were built by people just like you and I. When curiosity and distrust meet, it breeds willful ignorance. And by removing the humanity from all of these places, you work to push the world back into the very darkness that you claim to be fighting against.
It was done with a chisel.
Honestly, what's funny about these is that, and dude's popping off, by the way, so true. Curiosity meets, what was it? Ignorance? Distrust? That makes sense. The only thing that this video kind of makes me think of especially is like, man, people make such impressive works. You know what I mean? The whole thing that he just showed that he couldn't believe are just like so fascinating.
If you want to convince people on the internet that ancient people knew how to do interdimensional travel, maybe don't say that your evidence for it is somewhere in Portugal. Well, geez, man, that's a pretty big claim. Where's your evidence for this? I don't know. It's in Portugal somewhere. I reverse image searched this picture 6 ways to Sunday, and the only place I can find it ever being used is in this absolutely dogshit meme. I love that they show you this picture, which was very clearly drawn with this in mind, and then use a piece of art that was drawn out of someone's mind as proof that this very real geologic feature is proof that ancient people knew how to time travel. I really think we should start giving conspiracy theorists little helmets so people stop poking the soft spot in the back of their heads. Now let's assume that this picture is real and that it is fucking somewhere in Portugal. While Rock may...
You know what's crazy to me is like, this is a Facebook meme. Looks like the things that people just blatantly accept on Facebook once they, like, that's enough for a lot of people. You know what I mean? That's crazy. Is it just, there are a certain amount of people that just can't like look at something and just be like, nah, you know what I mean? Like they're not skeptical enough or something. I don't know what it is, but it's crazy.
Seem immovable to us under the right geologic conditions, it can function much the same way as a sheet of paper, folding and bending as continents press against it. And it can create all kinds of weird shit like this. So
that's
this is
so
bullshit.
cool.
Stop doing this. If you want to convince people...
It does kind of look like a warp gate, though, I'll give you that, but... Oh my god. We need to touch more grass, guys. We all need to get outside before we go crazy.
The most proof I've ever seen that the Illuminati actually exist.
Well, I'm on the edge of my goddamn seat. Let's hear about it.
I know you know. I know you know.
That was the most convincing evidence you've ever seen, was Andrew
my
Garfield
God.
making a joke. If you don't believe in radioactive spiders yet, I got some more Andrew Garfield content that's gonna blow your fucking mind. I really don't understand how people like this think that they have their third eye open and the rest of us are just asleep. I know I've said this before in another video, but you don't have to make up an invisible shadow government to be mad at. You can just be mad at the actual government.
Literally.
You wanna know who it benefits the most to have you distracted talking about this shit? The actual government. Take the infamous Roswell crash, for example. The UFO that crashed in Roswell was a prototype US military reconnaissance aircraft that was intended for development to spy on the Russians. But when everyone started to get their panties in a twist about it being a UFO, the US government started to feed into it so no one would notice that it was them that did it. Conspiracy theorists love to act like they are 2 steps ahead of everyone when in reality they're being played like a fucking fiddle.
The most proof I've ever seen that the Illuminati...
This is so true, man. This is so true.
Before y'all try to debunk, watch the whole video. It gets deep.
Okay, fine. I'll watch the whole video and then I'll debunk it.
Man's sweater's cool, by the way.
Now finding out that in 1994 they
Not that
found the kingdom of heaven in the waters above.
Yeah, bro,
What?
how are you just finding out about this? You see, me and my circle, we've known that in 1994 they found the kingdom of heaven in the waters above.
Real
What
images
waters?
was observed with the Hubble telescope.
You just make it too easy. Did you actually read the thing that you put on the screen before you posted the video? Weekly World News was the first to print the image and report on Dr. Masson's findings. That would be this article from 2009. What kind of source is Weekly World News? Oh. Huh. Hey, bro, you cited a source that has an article about how to sell your soul to the devil. I don't think the man upstairs is going to be too happy about that. Weekly World News
This is just making me think of Don to Don now.
is a satire news organization like The Onion. I wonder why NASA refused to acknowledge the existence of this photo. I got a little time left. Give me one more.
What does this look like to you?
They're T-posing.
He has risen.
Before y'all try to debunk, watch the whole video. It gets deep.
Scientists are starting to get a little edgy these days. It's because their sacred timelines are getting challenged.
Is it the
What?
scientists are getting edgier, or is it just that you don't like being called out on the internet by people who are telling you that what you're saying is wrong?
Creationists sent their own samples in to carbon date them, and they're coming back at 20,000 years old.
Ironically, I think these videos are actually going to make me religious because I do need the strength of God to get through this bullshit. You cannot radiocarbon date dinosaur bones. Radiocarbon dating is effective to about 50,000 years ago. And most importantly, it can only be done on natural material like bone, wood, charcoal, or hair. But since dinosaur bones are fossilized, you are trying to radiocarbon date a rock. There is no carbon-14 left in dinosaur bones, which is, you know, the thing you need to radiocarbon date. Of course, you get these completely incorrect dates. This leads me to believe that either you don't know that you can't radiocarbon date dinosaur bones, or that you knew and then just did it anyway. Either way, this propaganda is laughable even by young Earth creationist standards. So if you want to get these results published, I may suggest it being a punchline.
Scientists are starting to...
Savage, bro. All right. Well, that's it for today. But, wow, what an experience. Man, we started off strong with the sun isn't real. Dude, some of these are crazy. I can't believe it. It's tough to see what's like a grift and what is genuinely believed. It's just fascinating how people can come up with this stuff, but holy, it makes one's brain rot a little bit, doesn't it? But it's okay because science. But anyway, have an amazing time, everybody. Thank you so much for watching. And again, don't forget to hype, subscribe, all that stuff if you enjoyed, if you appreciate me and my thoughts. And I'll be posting more stuff soon. Bye.